What's going on, guys? My name is Tom and welcome to episode 9 of F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today is time for the Canadian Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous episode, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, a bang of a race, make sure to check out that one before you see this one. But we have just 2 days of free time before hitting the track at the circuit of Gilles Villeneuve, and before that we're going to have a simulator upgrade, and that is going to help us to improve the performance of our teammate Luca Chiotto. And talking about him, I decided to invest him a little bit in the G-Force training, and we're going to buy another upgrade for the chassis, and that is going to give us more resource points. So investing a lot in this team, especially on our second driver, which is the thing that I'm focusing at the moment, because at the moment he's not delivering the result that I'm delivering, scoring some regular points, which I'm really happy with what we're doing right now. But there is simulator spec 1 upgrade ready, and the G-Force training that improve, if I'm not wrong, the pace of Luca. But here we are already in our office, and before hitting the track for the practice programs, and we had to have some rain in qualifying, so that is pretty interesting to see. And we have 2 mine upgrades that should be ready for the next episode. If I'm not wrong, is the French Grand Prix. I hate this track, but now going to focus at this one. And the Haas is getting closer to Renault, and they are just a pixel behind our engine suppliers team. We're bringing a lot of upgrades for all the weekends almost, but Haas always manages to get more resource points and bring more upgrades, and that's due to the fact that our teammate doesn't get that much resource points as we do in this practice section. So there's another thing that maybe is slowing us down a little bit in the development of this Tom Motorsport car. But we're getting closer to the midfield teams, the likes of the Racing Points and the McLarens, but it doesn't look like, because we're not overtaking any teams, but we're slightly getting closer and closer. And you can see the example of Haas that's already just a pixel behind Renault, so they're going to be equal in terms of pace. But remember that the performance chart doesn't tell the whole story. But we're spending some time on the track in free practice, because it was raining and I need to get used to these raining conditions, because remember, we're going to have a rainy qualifying, but then the race is going to be dry. But you know, I always want to give my best in every single session, so I'd spend a little bit more time than I wanted to, and that compromised a little bit the tire strategy for the practice session. I was forced to use the mediums in the track acclimatization, which is a program that you're forced, it's not forced, it's better to use the hard tires to not waste any more tires, you know, and then you use the mediums in the rest, with the exception of the qualifying sim program, which we do when we come fastest for practice free. And at the end of the session is the first time that we're topping a session. So definitely it's not going to be our paces, because we did the simulation program, and despite that we got the green, not the purple. So it's very hard to get purple in the practice simulation, in the qualifying simulation I should say. But now we have to choose a rival, and I decided to go with Pierre Gasly. Already won against Kevin Magnussen. This question, it was after qualifying, but I decided to already show that. And you saw that in the team resource points we got 500, and Luca just got to around 100. So that is a massive difference, and the Haas drivers should get a whole lot more. So like I said, I think the reason why our progress is not being the best is because Luca is not and delivering the best results. He's not doing the all practice programs, and that is compromising a lot the progress of this car. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, as we're losing massively the back end through the right hander. We managed to save that. At the moment it is the intermediate condition, but it should get dry at the end of the session. But I don't know if it's, at the moment it's not good for dries, but it's not good at the moment, at least I feel, for the intermediates. I'm not feeling the traction, I'm not feeling very confident with the car. But I was saying I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Luke, and I'm going to race him for the rest of the season, and then we'll see my decision. Hopefully he's going to score some points. If he doesn't deliver the results, I'm going to put him out, and in season 2 we're going to have a good driver, a better driver, hopefully. And he's going to be a new driver. He's going to be better or not at the moment, I don't know. But I will be happy to see Luca delivering good results. But once again, and this time we're out of qualifying. Oh, and I was struggling in that corner in the previous lap, and there he is. It's over. Qualifying is over. We're starting last place in this Grand Prix because we lost the back end. I wasn't feeling confident. I pushed too hard. We're going to watch the replay. and I wasn't, maybe the tire was were a little bit too hot because I was pushing too much for the rears, and there is definitely not flat out in this car in intermediate condition. Maybe it is with the Mercedes, or maybe with the pink Mercedes, the Racing Point that was behind us. I think it was Lance Stroll, but there he is. And yeah, it was just stupidity. I don't know why I was pushing, because it was going to get dry at the end of the session, so there was no point in me pushing the car at this stage of qualifying. So it was just pure stupidity for me. I am stupid, like Charles Leclerc did last year, and yeah, that's our qualifying over basically, and Stroll managed to avoid the car, and watching another POV, and yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing crash. It was going to get dry. Everyone set the time with the soft tires, apologies, and yeah, there is P22 13 seconds off the pace because the track got drier, and we just set the time with intermediate in raining conditions, so definitely not the best result, and Giotto out qualified Daniel Ricciardo, so Ricciardo maybe got in some traffic and couldn't get a best time, and Lando Norris as well in P17. So our weekend didn't start in the best way, but fingers crossed we're going to have a good race, never give up, and we'll see if we can make a good charge through the field. It's time for the Canadian Grand Prix.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc. That was a great win in the Masters. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Lance Stroll and Albon, Perez, Kvyat, Raikkonen and Max Verstappen, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Valtteri Bottas. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Ocon, Grosjean, Magnussen, Lando Norris and George Russell, Giotto, Latifi, Thomas and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll see if we can score some more points. It's going to be really hard considering they're starting P21 thanks to a penalty, grid penalty of Daniel Ricciardo, and the strategy is going to be a 2-stop starting on the softs and then switch to 2 sets of mediums. I was thinking in the 1-stop if it would be a viable strategy, but as you can see, we'll lose a lot of time. So definitely the 2-stop is the way to go. Unlike like the real life Formula 1, where you know, the 1-stop is pretty powerful, but the 2-stop is a good option in this game. But 5 red light for the Canadian Grand Prix. Ferrari 1-2. I wish I could see that in real life, and it's lights out. And the way we got good start against Nicholas Latifi, and we managed to sneak our way through our teammate as well. And we're going to make a massive dive and to try to take Roman Grosjean. We try to go now going running outside, so it's been a good start. And now try to go running outside of the other half of Kevin Magnussen, but we couldn't manage to get the traction. But at the moment, for the time being, it is P16, so a very good start considering that starts way down the other. So making good inroads. These AI cars are getting a little bit stuck in the traffic, and that is going to allow us to make another dive on the other half of Magnussen. And now we're going to try to go run outside, making a little bit of a squeeze on the tan, but that's us into P15. So it's been a pretty decent start, and Valtteri Bottas and Verstappen, I forgot to say that, and you could see in the starting grid when Crafty was saying the names, that these two guys had grid penalties, and they're going to be way down the other in this Grand Prix, so they're going to have a tough time, and getting almost brake checked by these guys, and we almost hit the back of the Renault of Esteban Ocon. So just see how much the AI is struggling around this track with. It's you know, a bit weird. I was expecting to see some dive bombs, so the AI is more aggressive in this year's game, but we're getting some slipstream of the Renault of Ocon, and we're going to try to go run outside through the chicane, through the last couple of corners, as my voice cracks a little bit, so apologies for that. But we live the fight for another day, and we remain in P15, and we're going to try to save some battery, some fuel, because this is a high fuel consuming track and a high ERS consuming track, because it has a lot of straight, it has a lot of heavy braking zones, but you have to be really careful with the ERS. So for the time being, we're going to spend some time behind this car side to have some energy, and when I feel that it's time to attack these guys, I'm going to do it. I have to be a little patient. I've been a little bit too aggressive in these races, and I need to be a little bit more patient. Patience, it's a virtue, especially in motorsport. You have to be really calm, and especially in Formula 1, because this is a long race. Imagine if it was a 100% race, but we're going to focus on a race which is a 50% one, and we could get a good run through the final corner. Slipstream on the Renault. Are we going to make a dive on inside through turn 1? Yes, we're going very tight margins. Oh, and we almost, I think we were just a pixel of making contact with the Renault, getting a little bit of a slide as I'm trying to at the moment save the tires, but that is not very good. But at the moment it is Charles Leclerc leading the way, followed by Sebastian Vettel in a Ferrari 1-2, just in F1 games. I wish I could see that in real life. And then in P3 it is the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. At the moment it seems to be faster than the Ferraris in these early stages of this Canadian Grand Prix, but at the moment I'm trying to catch Bottas now, and the train is getting a little bit spread, and we have a little train starting with Bottas and Giovinazzi. There is a little gap, and then there's Verstappen, the AlphaTauri, and then the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Räikkönen. So there's some little trains around here, and at the moment Giovinazzi seems to be struggling on lap 4 and getting vulnerable to Valtteri Bottas that has DRS. Can he make a move? No, he's a little bit far, as you can see, but I don't want to waste time with these guys. But at the moment we have a Mercedes ahead of us, and he's a much stronger car, so I don't know if I'm going to stay behind Bottas, if I'm going to attack him. But at the moment he's not going to be attacking, because Bottas is attacking Giovinazzi, trying to go run outside on into turn 1. Now he's going to switch on his side, try to give him a little bit of a squeeze to Giovinazzi. Doesn't get a good run here for Romeo. We made a little tiny bit of contact as I'm trying to get my way through, and we're going to make a dive on the chicane, and that's us into P15. So Giovinazzi lost 2 positions, make that 3 as Esteban Ocon takes the pieces of the battle between me and Gio, and Gio having an absolutely bad lap by losing 3 positions in the space of 1 sector. So that's not really good from the Alfa Romeo, and Verstappen getting his way through on Kimi Räikkönen, as you can see. But Räikkönen is going to find some good traction, as you can see. So pretty impressive to see from the Alfa Romeo. Very weak in the real life and in the game as well. I think he's the 3rd slowest team in this game. I think I consider the 2nd slowest team in real life. I'm really sad to see Alfa Romeo struggling in real life, and Räikkönen as well is really sad to see. But these guys are going to pull into the pits, and I think the Alfa Romeo of Räikkönen ghosted a little bit because they went into the same time. So when you get into the pits alongside with another car, the car ghosts, and you can see the in the replay cameras. But these guys are going to fit the medium tire, so they are in the same boat as I am. The Ferraris, the guys in the top 10, I think are on the mediums. So I wonder if I'm going to make a medium soft top strategy. That would be really interesting, a very aggressive strategy. But for us, the guys that's outside of the top 10 is going to be a 2-stop, and as you can see, we're overtaking those guys. At the moment we are in P9, but it's going to be the same position once we pit, and on lap time we're going to address a brand new set of medium tires. So I'm really happy with this first stint. We managed to slice our way through the field. Lap 1 was vital to get all those positions, and I was a bit impressed to see the AI stuck on the traffic at the first corner. I was expecting to see some wild dives from the AI, and I found out to be a really similar problem, you know, to the Belgian Grand Prix, to the first corner, where the AI gets stuck and they just take 1.9. But look at that stop, 1.9, and we managed to jump Valtteri Bottas, and we almost jumped the AlphaTauri of Gasly, and that was an unsafe release, but was a 1.9 second stop. And did we beat Red Bull? Because Red Bull at the Spanish Grand Prix, I don't know if he got the record for the pit stop, but at the moment they have, because of the Brazilian Grand Prix last year. But that was a banger of a stop for my team. They have been performing excellent. So we're going to watch Bottas's POV to see how he lost so much time, and there is a reason. He got held up by the Alfa Romeo and the Haas, and plus the bang of a stop that we had, a sub 2 second stop that helped us to get ahead of the Mercedes. So that was really good to see. A synchronized pit stop performed by the Mercedes and the Ferrari. That is beautiful to see, and they're fitting the soft tires, so no surprise. And I wonder if they're going to fit another set of softs in the closing stages of the Grand Prix. That would be really interesting to see from the front runners. But now we have some trouble as we cut the chicane. I missed the braking zone because at the moment I'm being pressurized by our Mercedes, a much stronger car, and Bottas is in the soft tires, so he's in the same boat of the front runners, the likes of Vettel, Leclerc and Hamilton. And they're still out in front. They're going to pit a few laps earlier because you know, they are in the hardest comparative tire. But we're being pressurized by our Mercedes. But what is saving us is we're getting some DRS from a train that is starting, if I'm not wrong, I can see in the minimap, by the AlphaTauri of Daniel Kvyat, and there up ahead that is a racing point. So I don't want to lose time with these guys, but we have to be patient. And at the moment I'm trying to get some slipstream of Gasly, try to have some energy, and when I find that it's time to attack the AlphaTauri, I'm going to do that. But look how much time we gained on these guys on the brakes through the chicane. So I wonder if I have illegal brakes like Renault. You know, they're our engine supplier. So we're going to focus now on this overtake on Gasly, and that's us into P11. So good dive bomb on Gasly. But as I was saying, first we're going to watch the replay, so apologies for the bad timing. So yeah, we make a dive bomb, there was contact. No, I just managed to squeeze a little bit. I was tough but fair, and that was a nice move on Gasly. Lost a lot of momentum because we squeezed him very aggressive, but this must remember that this guy is our rival, so we must finish ahead of him. But talking about the brakes, I was saying that we were very powerful on the brakes this weekend, and Renault is our engine supplier. They had an history of illegal brakes. We have illegal brakes, I don't know, I'm just kidding. But Charles Leclerc is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. As you can see, safety car has been deployed. Oh, that is very unfortunate to play. He was leading the whole race until lap 14, and I think he pulled off to the escape road. You could see in the chicane that we were passing now, and I wonder if he had an engine failure. I believe it is so. That is so unfortunate for Leclerc. He did nothing wrong, and the reliability of the Ferrari betrayed him, and his Canadian Grand Prix came to an early end. And fortunately for us, it's going to be a free position, but that is so unfortunate for Leclerc. And at the moment who's leading, it is Vettel, followed by Hamilton and Alexander Albon. Can he get a podium in this Grand Prix, or he's going to be taken out by Hamilton? That is I'm kidding. And that is followed by the Alfa Romeo, and that is us into P5 at the moment, because some guys as well for Bottas have pitted. So we're going to watch the race. It's not very common to see in my channel the race director, but Bottas fitted another set of soft tires. No, Verstappen I should say. Carlos Sainz as well. So they're using 3 sets during this weekend. They're going for a free stop, which I think is not the best way to go, you know. But I was checking the difficulty as well, 103. So that is the highest that I've run in this career mode. So I'm really happy with the difficulty, and I was checking it and showing to you because I was feeling too strong for DCI because of the braking zones. But the race has been restarted, and the Raikkonen doesn't get a good exit off the chicane, and that is going to allow us to go around the outside, switch to the outside. We drive on the inside and then switch to the outside, I should say, and we gain 1 position. At the moment we are in P5. I started in P6. I made a mistake with the position, so at the moment we are in P5, but I don't know where we are at the moment. I don't know if we are at the points, if we are outside of the points, because we're going to pit one more time during this Grand Prix. There are some guys that are on a free stop, so definitely going to finish ahead of them. So I don't know where we are at the moment this Grand Prix, but we seem to have good pace against the Toro Rosso. Kvyat now, he seems to be a little bit further, as I'm starting to feel a little bit the tire wears, getting stuck on these dirty air. We skipped all the way forward onto lap 20, so I'm starting to feel the tire wear. I'm starting to cook a little bit my front because I'm getting stuck in the dirty air of Kvyat, but eventually on lap 20 in this lap I managed to get past him and getting close to him. We have managed to open the DRS, engage the ERS mode, the overtake mode, and we are in P4. Can we finish in P4 in this Grand Prix? That would be absolutely magical. The best result so far for our team would be P4, but it is a long race. We have another thing to do, and the guys in front of us are making their stop, and we lead the Grand Prix for the first time in my team career mode. Tom Motorsport is leading the Grand Prix, but it's going to be just not even a lap, because in the next lap we could be setting personal best because we are in clear air. That is understandable, and we're going to dress another set of medium tires. But that was so good to lead the Grand Prix for the first time in this career mode. But definitely that is not going to finish in this race unless there is a miracle. But yeah, one day, probably in Season 2 or Season 3, things get a little bit hard. We can lead the Grand Prix genuinely, but we're getting out of the pits. We are in P10, P11 is going to be maybe P11, and we're going to remain ahead of Daniel Kvyat thanks to this man, Nicholas Latifi, in the Williams. Remember that it has to stop because he's a Williams and Latifi is the slowest guy in the grid, but Kvyat then managed to get past him, and we are now on lap 26, at the closing stage of lap 26, and we are at the moment in P6, so this is the best that we can get in this Grand Prix. So this is generally a position, and as some guys are stopping as well, we are at the moment in P4, so now is definitely the best that we can get in this Canadian Grand Prix. We can actually finish in P4 for some motorsport, but we have to be careful because of Daniel Kvyat. He's getting closer and closer. He's been always in DRS range, but as you can see in the onboard camera, he doesn't have the guts to make a dive bomb on me, and that is killing a little bit our race. I wanted a good battle with Kvyat, but then we skipped to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and I made a mistake. As you can see, I used too much the track, and I touched a little bit Tiamco when I was going under the bridge, and we have a yellow wing damage, and Kvyat is getting closer and closer. He's getting faster and faster, and I'm locking up, getting a little bit more nervous because you know, I have front wing damage, and that's AlphaTauri is definitely much faster than this Tom Motorsport car, and I'm starting to feel the tire wear, and now I have front wing damage. But then we skip to the last lap. This is Sebastian Vettel. It is redemption day. He's going to cross the line first like it did in the real life last year's Grand Prix, but this time he doesn't have a penalty and he wins the Grand Prix. So it is redemption day for Sebastian Vettel and Ferrari at Canada, but we have to focus. Can we keep this P4 of this Canadian Grand Prix? That would be a dream, the best result for Tom Motorsport, but you have to manage to keep Kvyat ahead of us, and he's going to make a dive on the chicane, but we run wide a little bit. I wonder if we made contact, and Kvyat put himself into the wall, and I was already cleared him, but I think it touched the wall. I don't know if it was an invisible contact or not, but he's been overtaken by the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Räikkönen. That is good result for the Finn, considering that Alfa Romeo has been struggling a little bit in these last 3 races, if I'm not wrong, and there was some side-by-side action between Bottas and Verstappen, but they're going to finish outside of the points. So now we have to manage to get ahead, to stay ahead, I should say, of Kimi Räikkönen, because I'm struggling with the downforce. It's so close, but we're going to deploy everything, rich mix, ERS, and it's going to be enough to finish in before the best result so far for Tom Motorsport after crashing qualifying, starting in penultimate place, but we managed to pull something through, and the reward is going to be 12 good points.
A truly magnificent drive then, and a great performance from the entire team to secure victory here in Canada. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
We managed to pull something through, and we've been fortunate with some weird strategy from the guys that had stronger cars, and we managed to, as well, of Kvyat and Räikkönen, all those strong cars, but that was some contact with Kvyat. We're going to watch now to see what happens. I locked up a little bit, and then I ran wide, and then I was ahead of Kvyat, and he put himself into the wall. So we've seen some mistakes from the AI, and there is another. We had a crash with Verstappen in the last race. And yeah, I left him plenty of room, too much, and I ran a little bit wide on the track. But then he put himself into the wall. As you can see, he was turning a little bit to the right, which he shouldn't. And that, I think, resulted in a little bit of front wing damage. But nonetheless, he managed to finish ahead of his teammates. But it's been a good race for us. Kyoto made it despite making a 2-stop, he couldn't pull through, and he finished in last place of this Grand Prix. So I really need him to pick up the pace, because otherwise I'm thinking at the moment, if I should fire and get a new driver in the second half of the season. I don't know, because at the moment he's not leaving the result, finishing behind the Williams, and I'm doing something completely different, so I'm a little bit worried. I really need to pick up the pace, but in the constructors we are in P9 ahead of Haas and Williams, so at the moment it is me carrying the flag. But like I said, I'm really happy with this result. We managed to pull something through. We crashed on qualifying, but then we made some good moves, and we took the benefit of the bad strategy from the other guys. But guys, that has been episode 9 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. I hope you guys enjoy. I know that I've not been very consistent in the channel, but if you guys could give me a chance and make sure to share this video, smash like and subscribe channel if new, if to see plenty more Formula 1 content, I would be very thankful. Talking about my content on the channel, I know that it's just been career mode, but I have a lot of plans, new content for this channel. So if you guys give me a chance, be ready, because that is going to be a lot of new stuff on the channel. But I'm really enjoying the career mode, and I really want to see if I can do 3 seasons. It's going to be really hard because this is not my full-time job. But we'll see what we can do. I want to do the driver career mode as well, but we'll see what the time is still for us, if I have free time, and if you guys show your support, surely that maybe I'm going to do a driver career mode. But I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. Remember that the next episode is going to be at Paul Ricard, the French Grand Prix. I absolutely hate this track, so we'll see what episode 10 is in store for us. But for now, I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. Goodbye.